And welcome back to Late Night Lately, the Late Night Show. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the late night styled show for the website sequelscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. I came in hot at the top. My goodness gracious. It's a turn myself down here. Welcome back in. This is Late Night Lately. We have episode 96. And hey, I also have a monologue for you. So let's get to it. King Charles and Queen Camilla visited the United States for a 4-day state visit, during which they visited New York and took part in a state dinner with President Donald Trump. And if we know anything about Trump's palate, he went all out, baby. No dollar menu that day, only full-priced fish delights. Fish delights. I heard you like fish and chips. This is just like that. King Charles gave a speech to Congress that included subtle jabs at Trump, like the foundation of the principle that executive power is subject to checks and balances, and ignore the clarion calls to become ever more inward-looking. Damn! With heat like that, Charles should be at the upcoming roast of Kevin Hart on Netflix. Just imagine him there with Shane Gillis delivering lukewarm takes on Kevin's height. I heard that you are truly short, my friend. That's my King Charles. Jeffrey Epstein's cellmate revealed the convicted sex offender left a suicide note, but that it's been sealed by a federal judge. Fortunately, on Epstein Island, nothing is sealed. If you're watching this video, I pretended to put on sunglasses because I forgot them over there. President Trump claimed a pardon for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu would make the Israeli president a national hero, which is the same rationale I use for when I add coolant to my engine. Baby, I'm the best mechanic there is and there ever will be. Former FBI Director James Comey surrendered and appeared in court over an alleged threat against President Trump when he posted 8647 written in seashells on social media. Boy, I've heard she sells seashells down by the seashore, but I've never heard she sells anti-establishment shells somewhere in Washington, D.C. Elon Musk went to trial against Sam Altman and OpenAI, and surprisingly, it wasn't for child support. And finally, Val Kilmer's daughter defended the late actor's recent AI film enhanced performance. Meanwhile, the Michael biopic made a lot of adults defend a pedophile. And that's all the jokes I have for you today. Not a lot of mistakes, but they were definitely in there. Welcome back in. This is Late Night Lately, as I mentioned before. I don't know what's going on with this god dang microphone. It's not the mic, it's the cable. I refuse to buy a new cable. I don't know why. I also don't know what to search in the website. You might hear Law and Order on television. I needed something on. Listen to that Casey Musgraves album. Casey, if you're listening, if you're watching. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's get into this week on what happened in late night. This week in late night. This week was a kind of a progenitor of what we'll see in a couple of months when Colbert's leaving. He was off this week and he'll be back next week, I assume, and then that'll be the final run of 3 weeks of shows. Maybe it's either 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but they'll be done after that. And I don't know what the fuck is going on with this thing. And as I was watching through the shows today, the late night shows today, I realized, this is what it's going to look like in September when all these shows are back from, intermittent summer breaks and such. And it's just going to be completely different. And then, when Last Week Tonight it probably comes back in like October, whenever that ends. I assume it's going to end in the next couple of weeks. And then we'll only have Tonight Show, Late Night, Jimmy Kimmel, and The Daily Show. Late Night's going to be in dire straits. Speaking of which, Sultan of Swings came on when I was at the gym today. And, you better friggin' believe I was banging out trap bar bench press to Sultan of Swing. It's a great song. Whenever it comes on Yacht Rock Radio, First I go, it's not yacht rock, but then I just there's also a new yacht rock country. They did a yacht rock. They do have a yacht rock soul channel, and I assume that one did well enough to where they said, let's bring in the country one. And then there's also yacht rock deep cuts. SiriusXM, for what it's worth, get a deal and then get in there. So you're not just stuck listening to the same stuff over and over again. Although they do play the same stuff sometimes. If I hear, and I'll promise I'll get back to this week at late night, but if I hear, I love U2 so much. If I turn on U2 X radio and I hear Angel of Harlem one more time, I swear to God, it just pisses me off. For a long time, they were playing Atomic City. They take the singles, and Angel of Harlem is 30 years old, but they take the singles and they just play them like heck. I don't know why I'm centering myself. They play them like shit. Okay. On the Tonight Show, Jimmy had, first of all, this week, because it's the playoffs for the NBA, this is going to be something we have to deal with for the foreseeable future. I don't know when the deal ends, but NBC, obviously, they deal with the NBA first, and then everything else will come next. And by that notion, when the playoffs go over, so too do the late night shows. So there are many times this week at least twice, when I opened up YouTube TV and I went to Late Night with Seth Meyers. That's the first one I watch because Conan's no longer doing a show. I go to Late Night with Seth Meyers, and it is either the Tonight Show or the end of a basketball game leading into the Tonight Show, which is wild. That is something you don't deal with all the time, but now it's been, ever since basketball started on NBC again, it's what we've been dealing with. So anyway, which means I had to watch a lot of this stuff on YouTube. I prefer to watch the broadcast because, I enjoy that. And that's the same thing with SNL. I watch the broadcast of SNL for two reasons. One, I want to see if somebody curses live. I don't know why. I just love that. And then two, I could watch it on Peacock. Peacock's not the issue. I could watch it on YouTube, but there's no point. It's not a communal experience. I want to watch it alone. I hate that we have to see comments on YouTube. All right, let's get back to it. Stanley Tucci, Brenda Song. Diljit Dosanjh, who I believe, whose people emailed me to talk about, not for an interview. They just wanted a promotion that he's touring. And I did reach out for an interview, and they said no. Emily Blunt, Chet Hanks, who does a good job in Running Point. I'll say that. Francesco De Carlo did stand up. Anne Hathaway appeared as well, and then Stella McCartney was there. Yahya Abdul-Mateen, Meek performed. And the crew of NASA's Artemis 2 mission was there. Bruce Hornsby performed. Richard Gadd was there. And Olivia Rodrigo was there. For Late Night with Seth Meyers, he had Rose Byrne, Eben Moss-Bacharach, Matthew Reese, Io Debris, Sabrina Rudin cooked with Seth, Adam Scott and Juliette Lewis, Lena Dunham, and Carl Urban. The Lena Dunham interview was great. I think we are too harsh on her. I know she has said some things in the past, but if you are truly supposed to be mental health people, then you could at least, have forgiveness for this woman who people have so much disdain for. I have nothing against Lena Dunham. There's way more famous people that you should be angrier at. Unreasonably angry at. John Lovett was on Jimmy Kimmel Live, taking over the place of Oz Perlman. I think that's the guy from the Correspondence Center, the illusionist or whatever the heck he does. Anthony Anderson, Keke Palmer, Kareem Rama, Desi Lydic, Kevin Morby performed. Asif Ali and Sagar Shaikh. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, so sorry. From the Deli Boys, they were there promoting the final season of that show. Goldie Hawn was there, and Meryl Streep was there. It was great. Great set of interviews and things this week for Kimmel. Jon Stewart. People were clapping way too much. Oh, my God. People were clapping way too much. Jon Stewart sat in on Monday. And again, the Monday shows were all talking about the White House Correspondents' Dinner attempted shooting scare. And wouldn't call it an attempted assassination. And Stewart spoke to Jodi Kantor. And then our friend of the show, Josh Johnson, came in and did the rest of the week. Triumph, the insult comic dog, was at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, so we did 2 days on The Daily Show, which was great. Gaten Matarazzo was an interview subject, along with Ali Sadiq and RZA. And then Klepper did a little bit thing, and Mo Amer is now an op-ed correspondent, I guess. And then on Last Week Tonight, John Oliver talked about AI chatbots. It's wonderful. It's a good story. It's a good story. All right, now let's get into the topic at hand. This is from the New York Times. Stephen Colbert did an exit interview with them, with John Coblin and Amir Hamja. Stephen Colbert gets ready to hang it up. They spoke about the 11 years that he did on The Late Show and what he learned and what he regrets and all that stuff. And it's a long... They talked about the cancellation of the show, and it was 9 months ago when they learned that they were not going to be coming back. They talked about what it's like being topical on that show, and that how they decided that they were going to talk to more political based people as opposed to just people who are in the entertainment industry. What happened was that they had higher ratings because they talked about this stuff. Then they spoke about covering how Colbert covered the FCC and the Trump administration and things like that. I'm just skimming through this because I think it's an interesting read. But as for Stephen, he has no idea what is next for him. And I think that he obviously is going to take the time to not have to worry about that, because I'm sure that he's not in mourning of the show anymore, but I think it's okay for when that show ends for him to be like, oh, well, I'm disappointed. Oh, he also talked about how he declined a 5-year deal with CBS in 2023. So he would technically still be on today. Or at least have one more year in him. Or 2 more years, excuse me. He said during that interview, because it's all during the same interview, that there was an extension that during which he took only the 3-year version. And he said less than 2 years before they called to say it's over, they were very eager for me to be signed for a long time. So something changed. And I'm thinking it was the management. Ooh. Hold on, I have this quote. And God damn it, I need to find it. Control F, Control V. Let's go back to the being topical part. When Mr. Colbert took over The Late Show from David Letterman in 2015, his plan was not to have a ruthlessly topical or political show. We were discouraged by the network from being topical. He said, it was my instinct to be less topical because I didn't want to have to engage with what I saw was an increasingly contentious public discourse. And I thought, aren't there other ways to have fun with the audience? But after remember those 5 months where he was the months when the show started, where he was the showrunner of the show, and he was pulling double duty as a showrunner and the host and a producer, triple duty, I guess. that the show was not very good. The same thing happened with Late Night with Seth Meyers. It wasn't a very good show until he stopped pretending to be a late night host and started being a version of the SNL correspondent on Weekend Update that he is. By the 2016 National Party conventions, Mr. Colbert went all in on news and biting criticism of Mr. Trump, and critics were suddenly writing rave reviews. Colbert is going to be missed. As much as I lament his audience clapping through every single below mild joke, he's going to be missed. Let's see. And then this is an interesting question to end the bit from John Copeland in the piece. Is there some relief that you're not going to have to absorb every single thing on the news cycle, that you're not going to have to think about Trump in quite the same way? And Colbert's response is, oh yeah, now I can be as interested as I want to be on a daily basis, as opposed to as interested as I need to be to do a show that is about what our national conversation was about. I can opt out of the national conversation for a day or two. I mean, I'm an American. I still care about my country. I'm still going to care, but I can do that recreationally, or privately. And I think that's the one saving grace of not having to do the show anymore, is that he doesn't have to pretend and doesn't have to think about every single second of every single day about what the show is and has to be and its place in it and the news around it. News around the United States of America and the world. But again, he doesn't have to think about what's next now. And the easy answer would be go make a podcast, go do a thing, go. But I think if he takes some time away, he's a good writer. So I could see him definitely doing some type of writing thing, like maybe writing a book. Maybe putting out a Substack. That's what people seem to do these days. But his voice will be missed in the world of late night, even though it's all the same voice. All the same looking kind of guys and all the same voices. That's not meant to be making, not to say anything about him. But I do wonder where leaving late night like that would be. Okay. Listen, I think I'm done here. This is going to be a shorter episode. My God. I try to get to 20 minutes, but I have nothing else to say. If you like what you heard, head to the website cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to famous people sometimes. I just put out an interview with Katie Compa. Next week, there will be another interview, and the week after that, there'll be one more interview. If you want to see a video version of these shows, sorry, something's happening on my phone. If you want to see a video version of these shows, as well as most of the interviews, head to youtube.com/C+Comedy, where you can also see a video version of the other podcasts, LinkedIn Logs, the Jobs and Business News podcast, and the Constitutionals, the Entertainment Business News show. Subscribe to the shows wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on social media at C+Comedy. Follow on YouTube, Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok. Follow me on those platforms at Chad Blackwhite. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.